Hello, everyone. Come on in. It is lunchtime, and we are so happy to have you back. Can you believe it? This is session six of 6 parts of our strategic attendance planning playbook series. So, again, for those of you who are just coming in, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to go ahead and get started. As you know, for those who are new, I'm Sharon Bradley. I'm your facilitator, 25 years in education, teacher, dropout prevention coordinator, principal, central student services director. So our focus is chronic absenteeism, and it's my hope to walk alongside you as we grow together. We Attendance Plus is the premier attendance intervention management platform that has been proven to help several of our districts, or all of our districts, help them reduce chronic absenteeism, recoup ADA funding, and regain those very valuable instructional minutes for our students. This playbook series is for everyone, okay? Whether you're a teacher, a district leader, you're with a charter network, you're with a private school, you're parent educators. We had a nice group of parent liaisons who joined us. This is the place for you. If you interact with students on a daily basis, or you make any decisions, or just if you have the heart to help us turn the tide of almost 14 million kids being chronically absent, this is the session for you. So today is the last day, and what I love about the definitive guide, it has definitely given us some tools to monitor attendance data, and not just the data, how we implement the work that we're doing or about to do. So that's what we're going to spend quite a bit of our time. We're going to evaluate the effectiveness of what we do. Remember, we got to focus on that strategic abandonment. Let's not do things just for the sake of doing. And the whole goal is to gain sustainability, to how do we keep this work going and preventing fatigue so we can continue to build on that momentum and increase attendance over time. These are all of our dates and times. Man, we have been at it since April 21st. Just to kind of level set with everyone, as I see there are some new people who have joined us. I just want to quickly review before we get into the tools that the reason why we do this is because attendance is the foundation of every priority that your district or your campus has. And of course, whether it's literacy, we got to get our kids reading skills up. And we know that that literacy is built upon that exposure. Math. Math is cumulative. It is one concept that is building on another. And math is so much harder for kids who are missing, who are chronically absent, because they are missing those important concepts. Test scores. Yes, we know that our kids are so much more than a score. But with that being said, there's a level of accountability, and there are tests that kids must pass, whether they are a classroom test or exams or end of the year exams. Several kids are taking their final exams right now. But then also state scores. Research has shown that when kids are more present, they do well on tests. And it is graduation time. Man, I live near a city where they had fireworks at the end of the graduation. Well, we want all of our districts to have fireworks, because you have fireworks when you have a it's our hope 100% graduation rates, but very high graduation rates for our kiddos. CCMR, that's college and career military readiness. When our kids show up every day to school, that mirrors the expectations of showing up on the job, showing up in college, showing up in the military. And improving school safety. I love when we are very creative, and different schools and districts, they are able to tie increase school attendance with physical and psychological school safety. Taking ownership. I think that has kind of like been the going thread of all of our conversations. Yes, many of you are student services directors or coordinators of attendance or attendance. You've been voluntold that you need to supervise or support attendance. But we want to make sure that everyone knows that in a school building, in a school community, that everyone has to take some ownership. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're student services or if you are PEIMS coordinator, you're more than likely the one who owns attendance in the district. But how do we get you off the island so that everyone can own it? Because remember, many hands make light work. Another thing I want people to do is that we just can't deal with strategies. Strategies here or there to increase attendance. Building the system that makes the engine runs. That is how we're going to sustain our mission. That is how we're going to decrease chronic absenteeism over time. So during our time together, we've been doing a lot of thinking. We've been doing a lot of reading. We've been, you guys, just processing some things. So we've been thinking about our systems, our current systems, what we can keep, what we shouldn't, what needs to make some adjustments and so forth. And then also we've been writing some things out. As you see in my book, I have lots of things that I've written and I've highlighted. I mean, this just been such a great process with everyone because we have to understand that there are competing priorities. Yes, we have to make sure that we focus on all the other things that help a district or help a charter network or help a school, educate kids. But when we are able to think about it and write it out, we can make things happen. And the only way to make things happen at a faster rate, more effectively, is getting off that island. So it is my hope, and we've kind of circled back to this several times. Okay, who's in the boat with you now? How many people are in the boat? Do you have an attendance team? If you don't have an attendance team, are you utilizing a PBIS team? Are you utilizing your admin team? When you meet, is every time you get together and circle your wagons, are we talking about attendance? Because the reason why I ask you to do that is because by the end of the session or by the end of this upcoming school year, I want each and every one of you on this call to become system dependent and not person dependent or people dependent. When one person leaves, all the strategies, all the systems, all the great, notes and the system you've created is gone. We don't want that. So we want you to build a system and have it written and have it effectively communicated so that when one person leave or a group of people leave, the work continues. And as we communicate our systems and our strategies and our programming and our work, we want to expand that communication for community members and parents on the importance of attendance, sharing the resources. You have built some incredible tools and resources. How do we get that out there? When more and more people have the resources that's needed, we can help more people. We can help overcome more barriers. Those attendance promoting strategies for businesses, for community members, for parents. Remember, we share those things in session 5. Pull it out and utilize it. And not only that, add to it. What are the things that you guys are doing or that you've learned from one another? Our chat has really been rocking throughout these last 6 sessions. So utilize it. And then, of course, we want to recognize what we want to see more of. I was on We have people from Tennessee. I was looking at, I think it was Shelby, Memphis Shelby County Schools, and they have their schools in tiers. You have gold, you have silver, and you have bronze based on their attendance rate. So they are, recognizing what they would like to see. Campus wise, and they even drill it down, for students and families. So, as I said earlier, what were those community agencies that you can now partner with? This is just a review. I'm not asking you. Yes, I would like to see what you guys have come up with. I'm sorry. You remember last week we were saying all the different things that community agencies can do. So that was a challenge that I had. What is one, new community agency or business that you, or a community organization that you have partnered with to help you in this fight? Remember, we have our campus teams. We have maybe have our district teams that we working with, but can you name like one organization or something that's helping you with the work? I guess my biggest one right now, because I'm not going to ask you anything that I'm not going to do myself. I've really began to strengthen our partnership with one of our mental health organizations. They received a state grant that they've been working through, and I honestly, what would happen is that we would have kids who are struggling mentally, but getting them to the help has been the hardest thing. So now they have kind of like a crisis vehicle or crisis van that's willing to come to a school, willing to come to the home in order to help us help the child so they can get to a point where they can do well. So are there any community agencies or organizations that you would like to share? Okay, I see 100 families. I am assuming that is a family organization for families. So yeah, and guys, please continue to put another thing. I have been strengthening my partnership with after school organizations like the Boys and Girls Club. Um, Remember, many kids like to come to school because they want to get to the after school programming. And I think that after school programs have a unique opportunity to connect with kids, to share the importance of coming to school, or to increase engagement. Because we know that when we increase student engagement, definitely increase parent engagement, kids are more likely to come to school. Okay, Heritage Health is like a wraparound group. Okay, through the city's Department of Human Service. I, I didn't even, not that I forgot, but yeah, that duh. We are connected to the truancy intervention case management. Ooh, I need to check into that for our county. We are in Collin County. So I'm gonna go check for our county Department of Human Services. Thanks for that. Vanderbilt Health. And yeah, please continue to put in. And remember, it doesn't just have to be about health. What are other partnerships that may work? Some people, it's professional sports organizations. I love when the Browns, the football team, they have a huge stay in the game um, thing where they're partnering with so many schools. Yeah, in the whole Ohio area, but nationally as to about increasing school attendance. 100 Families incorporate 62 organizations. Wow. That help students and families, and the Metro Student Attendance Center and Juvenile Center. Thank you so much. All right. And guys, remember, this is, I'm not doing this for me, but I'm definitely writing some of these things down. I just want you guys to learn from one another. Um, Ways if you build capacity with families and those different partnerships. We talked about, of course, how do we shift the different times and how we engage parents, because their schedules are all over the place. Just like, I mean, we can speak for that ourselves. I know I was thinking for the beginning of school, check this out. When do you have the most number of parents in your building, especially elementary? I want you to think about this. And you probably said it if you didn't put it in the chat. The first day of school. First day of school. So I was working with our early childhood school. The early childhood school had pre-K students. And so I challenged them. I said, hey, because the principal reached out and said, I do not know what's going on, but my pre-K kids, their attendance is not good at all. And then I talked to some elementary principals, and they said my kindergarten classes, for whatever reason, attendance is not good at all. What can I do from the beginning to get parents in the boat with me? I said, okay. On the first day of school, you smile, let them walk their kids to class, let them, hi, oh, baby, it's going to be okay. Mommy's here. And then you just politely corral them into the cafeteria or into the gym, and have that conversation with parents right then and there. You have a captive audience, and keep it short and say, hey parents, your kids are here today, but what's more important is for them to come here every single day so that they can live up to the hopes and dreams that you have for them. But I'm going to need your help. Me and my teachers and my team, we can't do it by ourselves. So these are the three things that I would like for you guys to do on a regular basis in order to help us. You can talk about the importance of routines. You can talk about the fact that, when kids, not if, when they are upset, or they say they don't want to come to school, or they have a tummy ache or something like that, what you can do, bring the kids to school anyway, let our school nurse take a look at them, and then of course we'll make those choices. But we need you. Again, this is a very important time right now, so we can talk about these things, because the first day of school is right around the corner. And of course, in the chat, if you have some other suggestions as to how to partner with parents in the very beginning of school and throughout, go ahead and put it in the chat so other people can see. Okay. And as we kind of dive into the book, we're going to start in step 6 is page 55. They talk about the investment of integrated technology and tools. And for those of you who need to scan the QR code for the definitive guide and templates, please do so at this time. And when you get on, we are on 5, and I'm going to switch over soon in order to make sure that we all have it. So I'm going to do that right now. But with the tools, and the reason why investing in technology tools, I can tell you, it's hard when you're trying to do things by hand. In Texas, everything is big. So having hundreds and sometimes even thousands of students where you're trying to keep up with attendance, you're trying to see who you should recognize, who has perfect attendance. But remember, we don't want to fall into that slump. If your goal is 96%, how are you able to see what other kids have met that 90% goal? Because remember, that is a really good strategy to bring kids up, because when the kid missed one day, I don't know if you notice or not, they begin to miss other days. But if a kid missed one day, they still know that they have a shot. And those kids who are probably at 92%, they'll come up to 96, and you as a campus, as a district, will reach your attendance goal at a faster rate. I've had districts to do it in 2 to 3 years, but some in 1 year, just from that strategy alone. So having real-time data that that replenishes overnight and things like that. Shameless plug, but like raw weed K through 12, it can help you do the things that you need to do in order to help kids. So, let me, uh-oh. So that leads me to this right here. Justice delayed is justice denied. When we are slow to intervene, um, to me, we can't be as effective. We have to provide interventions and supports immediately. Okay, especially for our marginalized populations, because it can truly begin to snowball faster than we would like. Did you know that there are some kids who become truant within the first 30 days of school? All they have to do is miss 10 days or more. That is not what we need to have happen. And the question is, how do we prevent that? So with our session today, we're going to talk about, how do we evaluate and how do we process and look at how we implement, how we monitor, and how we adapt our attendance programming. I'm going to switch over just a tad to I want to make sure I get it a little bigger because I want you guys to see, because I know there may be several people who may not have the document, so to speak. Mm. But as we kind of start with the first exercise of the progress check tool, I want us to truly, these tools are very reflective. So we just share with you the importance of investing in different tools in order to help you do this, because manpower is great. And I know several of you guys have perfected spreadsheets and Google Forms and all of that, and they have been great, especially if you may not have the funding in order to do more. But to be able to have real time access and to be able to connect the dots, to connect the data with what your goals are, is a game changer. So these are all reflective pieces. Some of them are pretty short. So I want you to ask yourself, what resource or tool or platform that you have right now. So ask yourself, okay, can I use the district's attendance platform on a regular basis as it pertains to my job? Many people have tools that they don't necessarily use. You understand the benefits of the attendance platform and the practice and the process. You know, do you have something that's easy to use, and do you really understand the benefits, not just for you as a staff member in order to save time and to work more effectively, but the benefits of communicating with your colleagues on a particular student or communicating with the family? He said, I know the why the district adapted this platform or practice or process, and see how it's reducing tardies, absences, and chronic truancy. I will tell you, and Ben, in my previous years, I've asked a question like, why do we still have this? Why do we still have this platform, or why do we still do this? I couldn't answer it. So if you have different practices or platforms that you have those questions, just write them down. And remember, you finally have gotten off the island. Have these conversations with others to reevaluate. It says, I believe that this platform or practice or process supports us in achieving our schools or district's mission or vision or goals. Does it align with the vision? Is it the vehicle to get you where you're trying to get to? If not, you got to have a conversation and reevaluate. It says, I could not do my job as effectively without this platform or practice or process. Very good question. All right. So then, as you begin to, I said, the whole goal is how do you gain clarity? We have been working on attendance action plans and talked about all the things that can be involved, right? You know, making positive phone calls home first before making, attendance phone calls, attendance letters, and what do those letters, what's that language, and what information is it conveying? Attendance improvement plans, welcome home visits, what do those home visits look like? Parent engagement sessions, also student skill building. What are some of the things that kids need to be able to learn in order to be able to come to school more? Responsible decision making, time management, what? So this tool is as a result of that attendance action plan that I hope that you have written down somewhere earlier in this book. Has your knowledge increased? Has your attitude evolved as it relates to this work? Or are you shifting? Are you still in more punitive mode? Are you shifting more of problem solving? What? My skills and abilities have improved. My planning has deepened. The way I work has expanded. I think your work has expanded because you have been able to align and connect, the work of addressing chronic absenteeism to so many other competing and school and district priorities. The way I monitor progress has expanded. What does progress look like to you? And how often will you look at that? My relationships with students have improved. Our students are more engaged and participatory. My job is easier to do. Even though that may seem very self-serving, it is something that is very important because what do we always say? We need to work smarter, not harder, so we can be able to do what? Move forward. So part 2, going forward. I guess the question I ask, what do you need in order to move the needle? Because remember, when you build your capacity, and if we build your capacity, you can help empower and build the capacity of others. But how do you continuously improve that? So going forward, I need more training on how to use, this online tool or these online tools. If that is the case, please write it down. I need more collaboration time with my team. Being creative, what does that look like? I need to learn additional strategies. Oh my gosh, I can do a whole day. Like literally, I love sharing the different strategies, but also that's role specific. I need to find new ways to assess progress. I need more ideas for intervention. I need some activities for community building, yay, and incentives. We share some information about that. As you guys know, I'm a restorative practitioner, so community building is 80% of restorative practices. And if you do it right, 20% is conflict resolution. We spend quite a bit, and I shared a document with you on different incentives. So I hope you're able to utilize that. It says I need support. Oh, I need better variety of materials to work with. I need strategies to increase participation. I need support in communicating attendance objectives with parents. You guys remember that one pager we did for our parents? I'm telling you, parents can only go past one page. If you're sending them a whole stack of information, oh, this is all about attendance. Use Canva, use something, but limit it to one page. It said, I need an easy to use planning template. I need more direct feedback. So being able to articulate what you need as an individual, all right? Because it really does a lot as to how you show up and to your team, whether it is that attendance team, that admin team, PBIS team, or whatever other team, grade level team, that whatever, I don't care what team it is, let's make sure we carve a little time every time we meet to talk about attendance. Because remember, attendance impacts everything. Because when kids are typically absent, it impacts behavior. When kids are typically absent, it impacts academics. So that leads us to the team analysis. Use the below table to diagnose potential implementation gaps and address those areas within your attendance plan. So as a team, I would love for the next time you guys meet. I hope you guys have more time to meet, more flexible time to meet in the next coming weeks, since the students and teachers are not there or they are about to leave for the summer. But I want you to think about, what's that professional development and training? We talked about this. Their in-service happens every end of July or the beginning of August, sometimes even September 1st. It depends on what state you're from. And you talk about all the things, but no one talks about attendance. But nothing happens in a school or a district without attendance. So I challenge you, whoever is planning professional development for your district or campus, ask them, hey, I don't care how much time, can we talk about the ways that educators can identify the early signs of disengagement, of tardiness, or absenteeism, and how to respond? Okay, let's do that. And if you could think of other topics that that you would like to have addressed for professional development. So please write those things down and have those conversations ASAP. Technical support. This comes back to what you need. You remember earlier you were saying, hey, you would like more strategies, you would like more this or that. That is all technical support. What on who is the person or the people in your district or your campus or your charter network that can provide monthly meetings where all people who support attendance can get on a call and talk about trends and emergent things, or how to address certain things that we're seeking. If you don't have time for that, maybe have virtual office hours. Who will be that person to say, hey, from this time to this time, I'm just going to hop on Zoom, and anybody who want to come on and do some problem solving, let's talk about it. Maybe that may be even the first step. Who could be the district or charter network contact person, or a team? It could be a whole team that can do this. Okay, so we talked about professional development, we talked about technical support. All right, awareness and communications. Who are those collaborators, right? District communications department, I'm gonna be honest with you, any department within a school or a district. How do we build awareness with everyone? How do we get champions all over the district or network or the community? How do we get information out there in the community, like the school marquee, posters, the area corner store? How do we communicate that, remember, we are all in this together and everyone is here in order to do the work? Board and cabinet, site leadership. Who are the champions? Getting in the ear of a cabinet level official helps move things. They're decision makers. They're at the table. They're at the big table where decisions are made. So I want you, especially if you are a campus leader, who's your supervisor? That person may be a cabinet level person. If you were within a department, I challenge you, if you don't know who your cabinet level person is, find out and find out what's the protocol or the process in order to share information. Maybe we're talking about board updates. Some of you say, oh, we can't provide board updates, but we can provide updates to our cabinet level person to get to that person. Do that. And school doesn't have to be in to provide board updates. I think now is prime time in order to do that, because again, they're probably not been, just this whole avalanche of stuff. Now, I will tell you, this time, especially June, is really big for the board because they're making decisions about the budget. You guys know that. If it's not too late, let's have the conversation. You say that you need technology tools, you say you need training. How can you get that information there so they can put it in the budget so you can have what you need in order to do your job, in order to help students next school year? Then that brings us to materials and technology and resources. What are those resources that you need to do your job better, to accomplish the goals? I'm telling you, Rawi K through 12 needs to be on that list. We're proven to do it, and I'll show you how. So if you, I know there's a link in there in order to request a demo. Now, since you don't have as many people on campus, you may have time to sit and listen and be able to do that. Give us a call. Then, of course, we talk about the adjustments to the implementation plan. Let's not, if we know something is not working, let's not carry that over to next school year. Let's refine our timeline. Let's refine the rollout process. Now that it's my hope that you know more and we've taken a deeper dive. What were the holes in the rollout plan last year that you can fill in this year? And it's like, hey, last year, I see how we got off the rails. Okay, this time we're going to do this. Don't scrap the whole plan, but how can we revise that so we can have a stronger, ironclad implementation plan? So remember, so that we can not just build momentum, but we can keep the momentum going throughout the entire school year. All right. So I know 6.1 was kind of lengthy. Then we have 6.2. And that is the continuous, and educators, we know about this, the continuous improvement cycles. All right. But there's a methodology that I love, and that's here. It's the Plan, Do, Study Act. I like it a lot. It was designed, and we're just going to briefly go over just these first three questions. As you reflect, as you kind of think about some of the things that we just talked about, we got to get better. If you're not in the business of getting better, then it is my hope that you kind of think about, okay, if I'm stagnant, that means the campus or the district is stagnant, and our kids and our families don't deserve that. So the cycle, we need to be very clear. They say clear is kind. The goal is to get clarity. What exactly are we trying to accomplish? Write it down. How will we know that a change is improvement? Because we can change. The smallest thing can be changed, but is it working towards improvement? We know where we are. And if you hadn't written down where we are, that was in the early time, you got to know where you are to know where you're trying to go. So what change means improvement to you? Does it mean that every campus goes up 0.5% in attendance rates, within the first semester? Is that the improvement that you see? Is it every campus has to go up 1% or 1.5? What is it? And then what change can we make that will result in improvement? So what can we do in order to work towards this improvement? I really like those questions. Actually had me thinking about some other things kind of in my life that I'm trying to improve. There are other questions, like I said, that's here. I'm not going to read them all to you. But I think they will be really, really good. Like, how do you celebrate the small and big wins? I think sometimes we're always trying to celebrate the big win, but if we take some time to really reflect upon the small wins, where we were this time last year, because what you don't want to do, you don't want to compete toward against other people. You don't want campuses to compete against one another. Well, you want them to compete against themselves, where they were last year and how can they be better than what they were last year compared to this year. That is how you're going to get the buy-in. That is how you're going to get them to reflect internally in their work, because the work is not, because some people, yeah, they're motivated extrinsically. But I think the really, really deep work is when you dive into, or you tap into that intrinsic motivation. So 6.3 is measuring impact. Okay. The impact. So not what the tools that we have, not the goals that we have, not the implementation, what impact are we trying to make? So if you go to page 61, you'll see this. And this is to be done with your team. And we know what gets measured gets done. Just at the end of the day, let's just be real here. That's why connecting this work to your district improvement plan, your strategic plan, your campus improvement plan is key. So if this is already in your campus or your district improvement plan, you're golden. But it's the 5 W's and an H. So who do we measure? There are certain groups that you may specifically be very keen. And in my previous district, I was really looking at my homeless population. I was looking at my students in foster care. I was really looking at my students whose parents are incarcerated. So what is that group? I mean, now keep in mind, we look at all student groups, of course, but what group do you think, like, you know what, I want to keep a keen focus? And what do you measure? Okay. What is it that we're measuring about that particular group? Are you looking at attendance? Are you looking at, the seniors of my emancipated students and my homeless students and their graduation rates? Like, are they really graduating when, they have the housing instability or may not have parent stability? Are they graduating at the rates in which we would like? All right. When do you measure? When are those benchmarks? Are they at the end of a grading period? Are they at the end of the semester? Are they more of like, I don't know, at certain months, 2 different months in the fall, 2 different months in the spring? Where do we measure? The sites of the implementation activities. Is the work you're doing, is it a pilot? Is it a certain group of campuses? Is it a certain, region or feeders, so to speak? Or is it across the board? Why do we measure? It is my hope that the why is related to reducing truancy and improving attendance for all students. And how do we measure? And that is through, the tools, and hopefully there are customized tools, so they're not cookie cutter, so you can get the information that you truly need in order to do the important work. And then the last thing we're going to talk about is the cost impact matrix. And bottom line, there's just ways, the pros and cons of the different things you're considering. You're considering different services, you're considering different processes, you're considering different products that you may already have implemented or that you would like to. So bottom line, I'm trying to see if I can put it. Yeah, it's all here. I like how they have low cost, low impact, high cost, high impact, high cost, low impact, and low cost, high impact. Being able to put that in the different areas to reflect, like, what are those things that you're thinking about next year? What's the cost? And what is the impact? There are some things that cost, But if you really, really weigh in, like, is this really this thing or this technology tool or this process? Yeah, it costs this amount, but if we are able to increase attendance, we're able to increase funding. If we're able to increase attendance, we're able to increase instructional minutes, which can help us reach those literacy rates goals and those those math rates goals and things like that. So I want you to think a big picture when it comes to this. There are some things that you're thinking about doing that may not have a big impact. This is that resource for you. This is our last time together. I thank you for everything. We have wonderful resources. You need 2-minute videos. Share these with your people, all about incentives, letters, attendance, contracts, whatever, just quick wins for attendance. We have a very extensive library that we are growing. Again, I love to share the different districts that are finding money utilizing our platform. And please, 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 scan this. I would love to be able to do a demo with you. As I was sharing with you guys, we have more and more people who are scheduling meetings. The very simple, but it's all about you and how we can help you with your goals. And thank you. Here's my email address. As you guys know, I email several of you guys different resources and different things, and I'll always sign your thought partner. If you need a thought partner, if you're thinking of some things this summer and say, you know what, Sharon, I want to bounce this off of you. Here's my email address. Email me. I want to be your thought partner. I want to walk alongside you because you're doing amazing work, and it's all for the kids. And I love kids. So I thank you. You have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful summer. Just know we'll be sending some different things. I'm working on a blog right now on belonging. So just know we have some great things that they may not be virtually that you will be able to get access to, but we'll definitely be sending those to you through our newsletter, social media, and things like that. Take care. Have a wonderful summer.